welcome back to BrainFLoTv, Hot Topics TV. One of the hottest topics out there right now is what's going on with P Diddy, Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him. And I use all those names because, as you can tell, I'm a grown man. I've been around for a while. I've been around from way back in the day when this all started to where it's at now. And to see the journey, it was amazing. And I was proud. Until now, when all these secrets starts coming out. Kind of like R. Kelly used to be our favorite R&B singer, right? And still, to this day, ain't too many R&B singers rivaling R. Kelly. But we know what we know now, right? And once stuff is proven in a court of law, then that's what it is. But let's talk about the whole Puff Daddy, P Diddy stuff as far as Daphne Joy goes, which is the mother of 50 Cent's son. Despicable, despicable, despicable. I wanted to talk live about this for about 5-10 minutes because this is something that a lot of men go through, right? So this might hit home for a lot of guys out there as well. A lot of you women know because you are this or you used to be this, so you can co-sign. But then there will be a lot of you who are still like this, so you'll be in denial, right? Now, it turns out that paperwork is in action. People have made lawsuits, filed lawsuits against Puffy at this point, P Diddy. To be specific, it was Little Rob's paperwork that listed Daphne Joy, who is 50 Cent's baby mom's, as a sex worker alongside Young Miami for P Diddy. Puffy, you know how 50 Cent is. 50 Cent gets on social media and he clowns her. He is like, oh, you little sex worker, something like that. And she fires back. She says something along the lines of, oh, everything is a joke to you until people start getting hurt or people's lives are upside down and whatever the hell the case may be, all that other stuff. It starts looking embarrassing for her, right? Because people are saying, damn, if you 50 Cent's child's mother, your child support alone on a monthly basis should be okay to take you through, right? What are you doing over at Puffy's, P Diddy's, and now your name is being called in these paperwork as a sex worker? You're not doing backup vocals. You're not modeling for album covers or for one of his many products that he sells that he no longer sells, Ciroc and all the other stuff. But, you know, what are you doing over there? She's a bit embarrassed. So Daphne Joy finds it in herself to fire back at her baby daddy, who is 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, by saying he raped her and beat her, physically abused her, and then threw God in it and said, my God will take care of you from here on out. You know, all this time, all these years, you have never said or even given us a hint of 50 being the type of person to beat you, to rape you, to do all kinds of manner of evil to you. You never gave us not even a little hint over the years. But as soon as you are in a bit of a trouble or a bind, or your name is being called in some unscrupulous things that are going on, then all of a sudden, you got to make this man look bad. You got to make him look guilty. You got to say the worst things about him. You know what the crazy thing is? The crazy thing is that we live in a world today where that woman can just come out today and she can say, he raped me. He used to beat me up. He raped me. He was abusive. He was always aggressive towards me, showed me no love. He did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's all it takes. A lot of people will run with that narrative, and you will be seen as a woman beater, a rapist, an abuser, all this with no proof. No proof is required. Let me show you how this works, right? And I don't know if Daphne Joy was thinking about this, but there are a lot of these women who will fuck up the whole bag just to save face. And when I say fuck up the whole bag just to save face, this is what I mean. 50 is the money. He is. I just looked up Daphne Joy's net worth, and her net worth is somewhere around $900,000 to $1 million. 50 Cent got way more money than that, right? At the end of the day, you have a man who is in a position financially to take care of his child in a way that is above average. Also, make sure that you're okay as long as you're good with him, right? Right. But if you destroy him, the empire he's building, tear everything down just to save face, you automatically put that man in a position to where he is no longer able to provide for his child and subsequently for you as well. A lot of women take that big ass paycheck at the end of every month for child support and they go, oh, it ain't for me, it's for your child. Well, $30,000 a month ain't for just my child. You living off that money too, right? But let's not talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about fucking up the bag. Let's talk about destroying something way bigger than you just to save face. Let's talk about not needing any proof. This is how it works. If you notice, in this world, if you're one of the people that are like, say, Puffy or 50, any successful man, period, most of the times this applies to successful black men. You better be squeaky ass clean. They will forgive Robert Downey Jr. Oh, y'all want to go do Robert Downey Jr.'s history? They'll forgive Robert Downey Jr. and they'll forgive others like him of that persuasion. They're able to do all kinds of stuff and then reinvent themselves and then rehabilitate and come back to the silver screen as a Marvel character and make hundreds of millions of dollars. Not for black folks. When a black man is successful and he is allowed to go up the ladder, notice I said allowed to go up the ladder a little bit, he starts getting all these sponsors, right? And these people who are willing to invest, like all these corporate entities start attaching themselves to his brand. And of course, this is how a lot of the big checks come in. All it takes is that one woman to say, he raped me. Yeah, he did. And he used to beat me. And then you'll have a group of women on social media who will start saying, Daphne said you are a rapist and you are a beater and you beat her and you raped her. I can't stand you. Nobody should buy 50 Cent's music anymore. Nobody should watch all the shows that he is producing and putting out anymore. Nobody should support his brand or anything he is involved with anymore. And as soon as they start to do that, the noise starts to get louder and louder and louder. And when it reaches corporate ear, all the corporate world does is pull their sponsorship. Behind closed doors, they're like Pepsi. It's like, hey, we can't be associated with somebody who is, you know, you can see it on social media. There's a lot of women on there saying he is a woman beater and he is a rapist. I mean, has it been proven in the court of law? No, but we don't want to be the ones who ride the storm out with him and then one day it comes out to be true, because that same crowd can turn on our brand, be it Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whatever, Versace, whatever brand it is, Nike, whatever. We don't want to be the brand that stick to him and ride the storm out with him and then somewhere down the road it comes out to be true, because that same crowd will turn on our brand and say, don't wear Nike anymore, because Nike supported 50 when the allegations came out that he was a rapist and he was a woman beater, and they kept their money with him and they kept their sponsorship with him. So for that, we stand with women, and we no longer stand with Nike. Next thing you know, you'll have shirts going out saying, stop wearing Nikes. They support woman beaters, they support rapists, and that kind of stuff. So these brands are quick to pull their sponsorship from anybody, especially black men who are successful, who they have their attachments to. So y'all see what happened to Puffy. Y'all see what happened to P Diddy. He is no longer he is no longer with Ciroc. He is no longer with Delarion, or whatever the name of that thing is. He is no longer with, like, all the brands and sponsorships and everything had to be relinquished, because he's no longer head of Revolt. Revolt that he helped to start, partnered with, was an intricate part in building. He is no longer associated with. That's because this is how this works. Corporate sponsorship, corporate brands do not want to be associated in any way. So if you are that man's baby moms and you know how the business runs, the last thing you would want to do was come to social media and say, oh, you raped me. You abused me. I find that that was so low. And not only was that low from Daphne Joy, it also came at a questionable time, right? Why did it come at a time when you are being called out? Everybody wants to know, is it true that you are a sex worker for P Diddy? Everybody knows that 50 Cent has been a thorn in Puffy's or P Diddy's side for the longest, right? And P Diddy, Puffy, and 50, they're like, 50 is the kind of guy who's like, if you my enemy, you probably my enemy forever kind of thing. Ain't no killing this beef. I'm surprised that him and Fat Joe got to an amicable place in history now, because if you know the history, you'll know we thought that was something that could never be mended, and it was always going to be war, right? Look at 50 and Rick Ross, right? And now look at 50 and P Diddy. I wasn't even too much paying attention to their beef until I realized 50 kept hitting him with jabs. He was like, how much you want to sell Ciroc for? I'll buy it. And look, you see what happened? 50 offered to buy Ciroc not too long ago because 50 saw some shit coming down the pipeline. Y'all sleeping. He saw something coming down the pipeline and he offered to buy Ciroc. And Diddy them was like, the fuck out of here. You ain't your silly ass. And look, Diddy is no longer associated with Ciroc, right? How much is Revolt for? You want to sell that? Because, you know what I'm saying, I could get it for the low for right now, because I sense some shit coming down the pipeline. Get the fuck out of here. Boom. He is no longer associated with Revolt. In other words, what 50 Cent was trying to say is, if you my competition, you my competition. If you my enemy, you my enemy. Whatever the case may be. People are like, oh, 50 been mad all this time because he knows that Daphne Joy, his baby moms, was being by Puffy. It's deeper than that. It's kind of like the situation that she has my son around. You understand? Listen, remember what Cat Williams said? Just remember Shay's Talk podcast. Remember what Cat Williams said on that interview, and look at what's happening shortly after, right? So in 50's mind, all he wants to do is have his child and his woman. A woman can really be embarrassing, okay? And give other people bragging rights over you. And while they're bragging at you, they're laughing at your child and they're using her as a pawn. So I guess in 50's world, he would really like to have Daphne Joy in a space where she's exclusive and she is not easily accessible, and then her name doesn't start popping up in places like a sex worker for P Diddy in a federal investigation that looks like they're about to bring a RICO case against them. You know, now comes, okay, so I feel like I gotta snatch my child up. And this is where that came from. 50 Cent said, oh, she over there, her name popping up in paperwork as sex worker. Is a federal investigation going on him. Let me get my child to a safe place. So all I want to do is just take my son out of that environment, get him to a safe place. So I'll go through the courts and I'll file for custody for my son. Right when he said he'll file for custody for his son is when the baby mom's Daphne Joy comes out to say, oh, you raped me in the past and you abused me. How come you never said all that before? Because you don't want the man to have custody of his child. That's it. And you don't want him to seem like he is winning in any way. So now that you're out here, it's embarrassing just to be in those papers and then listed as a sex worker. So now that you're out here and 50 is poking fun at you, he's probably telling you, listen, I told you should have stuck with me. You know, look at what's going on now. Look at where you at now. The glitz and the glamour, it ain't worth it, is it? Right? Right. So I don't support that. I don't support that. And it's sad, but that's the way we are now as a society, man. It takes only a couple of words from a woman and a man loses everything he's been working for. His whole kingdom gets torn to shreds. He is probably on his way to prison or jail if he's not careful, you know, because all she got to do is come out and say, hey, he did this to me. Even now, you have people coming back from way back in 1991, 1991. He did this to me back in 1997. Man, we're in 2024. And very little proof available for these accusations. But for somehow, these accusations are standing without legs. And they're damaging careers. And they're ending legacies. And they're ripping up families. These accusations that stand without legs. You heard what I said? These accusations that stand without legs. Now, let me close this video by saying this. I don't ever want to be the kind of person, right, who victimizes a victim by saying, you're lying. And it actually really happened to that victim, and I'm out here saying, you lying. I don't want to be that person. But what I'm trying to say is there's a course of action. And the first time that we're going to hear that your baby daddy, the man that you used to be in a full-blown loving relationship with, booing it up for the camera and the rest of us to see, the first time we're going to hear that he violated you should never be on social media following a comment where he says he needs to file for custody for his son because he doesn't like the environment that you have found yourself in, and he's looking out for the welfare of his child. And your reply is, you raped me back in when, and you abused me, but my God is going to take care of you. Chill. 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 I feel like sometimes these kind of recourse actually makes it worse for people who actually are victimized, you know? And I feel like on a celebrity level, you got to be careful when you're a celebrity, when you've made it and the higher up you climb on this ladder. Because everybody you deal with seems to be taking notes, saving ammunition, so they could use it against you later. No matter how it seems like, how close it seems like they were to you. Hell, Little Rob, who has this lawsuit against Diddy, Little Rob lived in Diddy's house for over a year. I think it was a year and a month. lived in probably all of Diddy's houses, plus on a yacht that he had, working on his project for him, his album, but lived with him. So he got to see the intricate parts of this man's life. I don't know if at any point Diddy probably thought, did I bring this person in too close? Am I showing this person too much? Why? Because he was probably over there acting like, I'm here for the party too. I'm loving the ambiance. I'm loving the life. I'm loving being around a billionaire. It's wild over here. Your lifestyle is wild, Diddy. All right, you like this beat right here? And he's not knowing that this man is over there collecting evidence. And he's like, I'm going to use this shit against you later, right? So you got to be really careful out here. You don't know who's going to use what against you. You with your woman, and she is telling you, I love threesomes. And you're like, for real? Okay, well, we could turn up. And you start getting people to get in bed with her. And you doing it, and she like, I like it rough. And she's like, choke me. And you choking her, and she's like, slap me. And you slapping her, and she's like, slap me harder. And you waxing her. And then she goes in the bathroom and take pictures when y'all are done. You knocked out because you done put in work. Your back is empty. She takes pictures of her face, finger marks on her neck. She the one that told you choke her, right? She taking pictures. She filed those in her phone under April 2nd, 2024. And then them shits pop out in 2030. And she's like, I got proof. He was abusive. He used to force me to have sex with other people. He choked the daylights out of me sometimes. Here's one picture of me after he had done choking me, and show with your finger marks on her neck and all that. Man, listen, it's a weird world out here. It's a weird world out here. But back to what I'm saying, though. Daphne Joy came out with this at the wrong time and wrong place. And for that reason, I don't think it's valid. And if it did happen and it is valid, pursue it in a court of law. But until then, that man say he is coming for his child through the court system. He is filing for, he's filing to have his child with him custody-wise, because what's going on over there where you're at doesn't seem too safe. And I'm riding with it, So message out there to all the women. If you have genuine beef with your baby daddy, then sort that out. But don't try to lie or make stuff up to save face, knowing that some of the stuff you making up could actually permanently destroy this man. It's still the father to your child, right? I'm going to leave this one right here for today. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on BrainFLoTv, Hot Topics TV. And I'll catch y'all on the next video. I'm out. Peace.